I'm Dr. Cheryl, and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. The theme of our show is raising the awareness and consciousness in the relationship with wealth and applying unconditional love. Always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. The best is yet to come. Zig Ziglar. Our special guest this evening is Richard R.B. Botto. He's the founder and CEO of Stage 32, the world's largest social media site and educational hub for film, television, and theater creatives. RB is also represented as a screenwriter, producer, actor, and author. He served as an associate producer on Sam Levinson's debut, Another Happy Day, which starred Ellen Barkin, Demi Moore, Thomas Hayden Church, Kate Bosworth, and Ellen Burstyn, and premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, winning Best Screenplay. In 2014, Botto executive produced the award-winning short All Things Hidden, Botto's own latest script. The End Game is currently in development. A pioneer of the early stages of the internet boom, Botto developed Stage 32 so creatives across the globe would have a dedicated network to find work and representation, launch projects, secure funding, further their education, and make life and career-altering connections. In just over 3 years, Stage 32 has organically reached over 325,000 members from every country on the planet and has been described by Forbes as Lynda.com meets LinkedIn meets Facebook for film, television, and theater creatives. Botto has spoken all over the world at industry conferences including American Film Market, South by Southwest, Screenwriters World West and East, Great American Pitch Fest, STN Convention, and many more. Prior to creating Stage 32, Botto was the founder, publisher, and editor of Razor magazine, a national men's lifestyle magazine, which boasted a readership of 1.5 million at its peak. A former radio host on ESPN and Fox Sports affiliates, Botto appeared on such networks as CNBC, MSNBC, NBC News, Fox News, CBS News, and VH1, riffing about the entertainment business and social media. In the 90s, Botto was an integral part of a team responsible for creating the vendor tracking system used by many of today's top e-commerce companies. Botto headed the development and design and commercial implementation for several of the top 50 most visited sites on the web during that period. Botto also serves on the advisory board of Old Town Music Hall, a classic film theater in El Segundo built in 1921. Botto's book on crowdsourcing will be published by Focal Press in 2015. This is the second segment of a two-part discussion with RB. Welcome, RB. Thank you for coming on my show. I'm just sorry you're not here live, but you're as live as can be. And welcome.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here. Wish I could be up there, but good to be doing this.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, to a friend of mine who's been in the business for about 25 years, he said, probably since about 1998, 99, it's never been a more exciting time. It's been the most exciting time to be back in the independent world, and I sort of agree with that. And in fact, I do agree with that. I don't sort of agree with that. I do agree with it. And I think that that's where I want to lead Stage 32, to have it be all-encompassing so that, a filmmaker or even, an actor, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, that's all part and parcel to making a film or having a theatrical play or whatever, that you need all these components. But that the person that wants to put all these components together has all the resources and needs they need to make that the most successful project it could possibly be.
So where do you see yourself going with Stage 32?
We have so many plans. I used to joke that we wanted to be Home Depot for people working in film, television, and theater. Everything from, I used to say concept to completion, but now I look at it. I used to joke about that. I don't think it's such a joke anymore. Now I look at it as concept to distribution and maybe even beyond. And I just think that right now it's a very, very exciting time. 90%, if not 97% of the filmmaking that's being done out there is being done on an independent level outside the studio system. I think that's going to continue to happen. I think with more distribution channels and a lower barrier of entry,
Right.
to film something. I mean, you can film something on your phone, and people are editing on their phone now and things of that nature.
Right. It's
That
amazing.
it could go it could go anywhere. As far as, I think it's going to become more explosive for people working on the indie side. I think, and I talked to a friend of mine who's been in the business for about 25 years, and he's probably since about 1998, 99. It's never been a more exciting time. It's been the most exciting time to be back in the independent world, and I sort of agree with that. And in fact, I do agree with that. I don't sort of agree with that. I do agree with it, and I think that that's where I want to lead Stage 32, to have it be all encompassing, so that a filmmaker or even an actor, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously that's all part and parcel to making a film or having a theatrical play or whatever, that you need all these components, but that the person that wants to put all these components together has all the resources and needs they need to make that the most successful project it could possibly be.
Well, it's not easy no matter what, but like you said, when you have that passion and purpose, you can get through the obstacles a little bit easier.
I agree. You know, and there's nothing more important, in my opinion, on the creative side than support. If you
Oh,
don't have that,
totally.
you don't have anything. And I joke when I do screenwriting conferences. I always joke about the fact that if you live in Lincoln, Nebraska, or whatever, that if you go out with your friends and they're working in other industries and they say, "How was your day?" and you say, "Well, I'm having third act problems," they're going to look at you like three heads. I mean, you're not going to get the support you need.
Right.
And and it's the same thing, though. It's the same thing being an actor in LA or being a writer in LA. Even though you could have a great group of friends, it's still a struggle. I mean, it's still a challenge. So I mean, support is everything. If you don't have that support to pick you up and to keep pushing you along,
Yeah.
it makes the challenge that much harder.
Well, I totally agree with you, because I know that I've had to kind of eliminate a couple people in my life, because they don't, not that they don't understand, it's just they don't have a positive attitude about what I'm doing. So it's like, I don't need that. I have to have the positive attitude. I'm not quite there yet, and I need to have total positivity, you
I
know?
think it's smart. I mean, I don't want any negativity in my life either. I tweet it out all the time. No negativity in my house. When people send things to me and it's negative, or it's negative about the site or whatever, I do my best to educate people and to explain what we're doing. But if you're going to bring negativity back at me, and just because for the sake of being negative, I don't want it. And if you're going to be a negative creative, if you're going to, again, this is a challenge enough. If you're going to be around people that are like, the world is ending every 2 seconds and it's so negative and it's never
No,
going to
no,
happen.
no,
And
no,
it's
no.
who needs that? Who
Yeah,
needs that? That's a cancer.
yeah,
That's cancer.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's slow death. No, thank you.
No way.
So what's your next big dream?
Well, I mean, I think with Stage 32, it's keeping the course. We have a ton of things planned for 2015 that I'm extremely excited about. We're forming some really great partnerships that again, positivity and working with really good people, it means everything to me. So to be able to join forces with complementary aspects to what we're doing, complementary companies to what we're doing is exciting to me. We have other things planned as well. And then, of course, on the creative side, it's getting this film to the finish line and to continue creating. That's the dream, is to keep working and to keep creating. I mean, I think that's what we all dream about, is to keep being inventive and following our dreams and our
Innovative.
desires,
Yeah.
and innovative. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly on the Stage 32 side, and it's a good balance. It's tough because it's tough to, Stage 32 does take an enormous amount of my time, and so you got to find the balance to be able to create on the other side. But the one thing that's cool about both of them is that innovation is around me at all times. Creativity is around me at all times.
Yes.
Constantly thinking of things and creating and building, and so that's cool. So I get to do what I love every day, and on top of it, get to help people that have like-minded dreams and desires and sensibilities.
So, are you feeling like you're financially, it's all happening financially as well?
We're profitable in our third year, which is great. We've
Well,
expanded our staff from, it was really just Derek Ontiveros, who's my CTO and developed, 99% of the site. And I really were the only two people for the first 2 years. Now we have
right.
a staff of 9.
Yeah, yeah.
We've added 7 people over the last year, and we have a couple more that we're eyeing, a couple more positions we're eyeing, and it's open. And yeah, it's been beyond my wildest dreams,
It's
and
exciting.
it's exciting. It's exciting. It really is.
So, what do you do for yourself to keep that positive, internal that keeps you going?
Well, I'm fortunately surrounded by some great people in my life, some unbelievable friends, just really, really good people. So that's a great thing and important, obviously. Positive minded people, like we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And then, I do have I love to exercise and work out and, take that time to myself. I find that I do some of my best creative thinking during those times where I'm actually shutting down and just, exercising and, or, even just, reading when I get a moment to at night, maybe, or whatever. I mean, it just, you clear your head and all of a sudden, you
Yes.
relax your brain and then bang. But, like my sports and don't get to watch as much as I used to, and my hockey and my football and all that. But yeah, I try to keep as much balance as humanly possible, and I shut off where I can. I don't work for the sake of working. I work until I feel like everything is that needed to get done is done. So it's not over the top where I feel like I have to be, at 3 o'clock in the morning on the computer. It's a weird thing about doing a business like this is that the doors never close. It's 24/7. The lights are always on, the doors always open. So there is a certain amount of attentiveness that needs to be there, but
Right.
you have to learn. I mean, you have to learn to have that balance. I think and I've been doing it for a while, so it comes a little bit more naturally to me.
Right, right. Well, I know for myself, sometimes at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's when my creative ideas come.
Keep that pad by the bed, man.
Yep.
That I've
My
learned.
dream
Learn to
book.
keep that pad. You may not know what the hell it says in the morning, but at least you got to get somebody to decipher it for you. But yeah.
Yeah. So, what wisdom can you share with the viewers that, like, people that are watching it that are in this industry, whether it's TV, films, or whatever? What real, grassroots wisdom can you give?
The thing I always go back to is that you have more control than you think. And what I mean by that is, again, I go back to the no, that you're going to get no. You're an actor, you're going on an audition, you've gone on a bunch of them, things aren't working for you, you're not the right type, you're not
Yeah.
you are in control of the feedback. What the feedback you get, you're in control of how you process it. And it's always great to ask for feedback. Why doesn't it work for you? Can you maybe give me something? Don't be afraid to ask. Even screenwriting, I always say, don't be afraid if you get the dreaded, it's not for me. Can you give me a little bit more for you? Can you give me one thing that maybe you would say would improve the script, and then
Right.
digest that? You're in control of all that information that comes in, and you're in control of your emotions. And I think that's the biggest thing if you're going to be an artist, is that you have to be able to digest and parse and then figure out how you want to handle it and how you want to go forward with that, what you want to learn from it. So I think that that's one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest pieces of wisdom I could throw
Right.
out there
Right.
is,
Right.
you're in control. You're in much more control than you think, and use it to your advantage.
Well, for some people that would be a lot of work, to really embrace that you're in control, and it's all a process anyway, with your evolution.
It's like any other discipline.
Yep. Yep.
To me, that's what it is. It is a discipline.
Yes, absolutely. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share about anything that you're doing?
Oh man, if I had anything more going on, I would definitely need a clone. I'm hoping that that's going to happen in my lifetime. But no, just that, like I said, my team and I are extremely excited about what's coming down the road, and extremely excited about what's going on right now. And the site is just, exploded, and people are getting work, which is awesome. And you get letters of people who are going to quit, and they're staying in, and they're fighting, and they're scratching and clawing. And even recently we had a 55-year-old screenwriter who had been writing for 25 years, and was on just the downside of it. He just said, between flying close to the sun a couple of times and not having things work out, and getting to this point now where he felt like he was going to face ageism, he didn't want to go. He didn't really feel like doing it anymore. He was done. This was the last script he was going to write and everything. And he pitched through one of our services, and within a week, he got flown from Chicago to LA, landed the manager that flew him out signed him, and then placed him on ABC's Black Box. And when you hear stories like that, I mean, when you hear stories like that and you're involved in that, I mean, there's nothing better. So
Absolutely.
it's all clicking. So there's not anything else that would necessarily, I could throw out that I'm doing, but this is what kind of drives me through my day every day.
We're living in such a phenomenal time right now, and kind of getting back to the grassroots of the creative force, instead of having the huge corporate, well, I won't get into that because that's one of my driving forces against some of that, because it stifles your creativity.
Yeah.
And when you get into that greed factor, there's more than enough for everybody.
That's it. And again, but it goes back to controlling what you can control. If you get to the point where you're involved in that corporate structure, you're working inside the studio system, you're going to have to play the game, and you're going to have to figure out how to navigate that game. But until that point,
right,
you have so much more control. It's like, I have screenwriters who have said to me, "Ah, man, I just can't get any traction, and I can't, the script is good and I've heard good things." And I'm like, "Have you ever thought about going out and trying to film a short? Do you have any desire?" "Well, yeah, of course I want to direct." "Oh, you want to direct too?" "All right, well, take matters into your own hands and go film, a 5 to 10 minute short, and let people see it and see where it goes from there." People don't realize, like, even a movie like Whiplash, which just won Sundance this year and is probably going to get a couple of Academy Award nominations, possibly even one for Best Picture, was a short. It was a 17-minute short that got submitted to Sundance and made it, and it didn't have the same actors in it, and but here it is, and they made it. It was a guy that had been working at it for so long with really no traction, interest, but not necessarily any big success, who took this matter into his own hands. And that's what I mean. You have control, and you have more control than you think. And the second you surrender this control, I'm sorry, I was just going to say, let me wrap this up really quick. But the second you surrender control is when it rolls back on you, and when you're not going to, you just have no chance. You have no chance. So you can't surrender it. I'm sorry.
No. I was interrupting you. No, these are the stories I'd love to hear, because that's a true success story. When,
Yeah.
okay. I thought we lost you, but we didn't. So, I mean, and that's why you're doing what you're doing, because, there's so many creative people out there that don't know how to do it. They might do the film, but they don't know how to take it the next step. So, here you are, and you're helping these people. And I think it's marvelous.
Well, thank you. We're doing what we can. We're trying to bring in the people, like I said. The one thing that very, very proud of, and we all pride ourselves on this, so everybody who works on the educational side of Stage 32, is that we want to bring in the people who have done it. We want to bring in, not the advisors, let's say, but the people who have actually been in the mix and who have done it. And so if we're going to have somebody teaching about, film festivals, it's going to be somebody that either runs a film festival, or it's going to be somebody who has submitted successfully to multiple film festivals and can tell you the process of how it happened. If it's an independent producer, or if somebody talking about financing, it's going to be an independent producer that's going to speak about how he raised the money for his film or his films. It's going to be somebody that's done it multiple times. And that's something we're enormously proud of. We work with over 250 executives here in Hollywood. And they all love to give back. That's the other thing that's awesome about it. They love to give back. So
that's what it's all about.
So it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Right. Wow. So do you have anything else that you would like to, in closing, that you would like to share?
No, if you're out there and you know you're again if you're in a in the creative world, looking to get in the creative world, I just can't stress it enough. Go after it. Same thing if you're an entrepreneur. If you happen to be watching this, you know it's there's a saying that I love by George from Georgia Dare that everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
Yes.
I truly do believe that fear is the great
Oh,
debilitator,
yes.
and you got to get by it, and you have to, and in a lot of ways you have to embrace it. You
Well,
know, embrace it.
you have to get through it.
Yeah.
I mean, in my interpretation, it's like you got to step into it and go through it,
Hmm.
you know, and
Hmm.
then you're done with it. You're free.
That's it. You're free. You're free. It's not, you know, everything in life is not the things that happen to you, but how you react to them. And if you're willing
Amen.
to, again, digest and parse and be that, you know, be strong minded about it. That doesn't mean that, you know, I haven't had weak moments or setbacks. It's just that, you know, you
Yeah.
have that setback and you allow yourself that setback, but you give yourself a second to think about it and then keep going.
One of my mentors used to say that we all have fear storms and they pass.
They
You
do.
know, they pass.
They do.
And as long as you know it's going to pass, then the next wonderful thing will be on the other side.
That's right. Everything that's terrible today will be less terrible tomorrow. It's the truth.
Do you have on your website? Now I have gone on your website, but I haven't like gone through it in detail. Do you have any little clips of anything that's come through your studio? You know,
You mean it's
videos.
of my own stuff
Well,
or
or anybody that's
yeah, well, anybody can post. Yeah, anybody can post their reels. There's a million of them. Anybody can
Oh,
post their
okay.
reels, and you know, it could be their short films, their acting reels, their cinematography reels. You can post anything.
So really, your outlet or your website is a wonderful reference for all of the entertainment companies.
It is. I
Looking.
mean, you know, like Forbes called us, or I should say, Yahoo Entertainment called us Facebook meets LinkedIn, and then Forbes called us LinkedIn meets Lydia. I'm sorry, Linda.
Linda,
Lydia.
yeah.
And you know, and Linda, of course, is all the educational stuff. I think that's right. I think Facebook meets LinkedIn, where you have a social aspect, but a professional social aspect, and then LinkedIn, the social professional aspect, meets Linda, which is the educational aspect. So I think I think it's fair all the way through, and I think it gives a little bit of a little color to exactly what we're doing.
I get a sense that this has really expanded beyond your wildest dreams.
You know, I knew that I hoped in a lot of ways that it would catch, and you know, I went to when I started it. I went to 100 of my friends in the industry and you know solicited their opinion and asked them if they would join and if they would join if they felt it was worthy and felt it was worthwhile and a good resource if they would invite 5 people, and 97 of them did, and the other 3 I asked to give me 3 reasons why they wouldn't, and they did, and the feedback was great, and it was stuff that I utilized, and it's kind of, you know, that was the validity, that was the validation I needed at that point to say, okay, there is a use for this, and then it kind of kept going from there. Now that I think we'd be at 325,000 people and be this global at this point,
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, maybe I thought, you know, maybe I laid my head down on my pillow a couple of times and said, yeah, that'd be cool. But to see, I guess the thing that's been just fantastic that maybe I didn't see all the way was how people really wanted the education and really embraced this idea. And the other thing maybe I didn't see totally, I knew it would make the world smaller, but when you have a composer in Florida scoring somebody's film in India and they met online and they're,
Yes.
you know, he's sending her clips and she is scoring those clips and sending them back. And I mean,
Yeah.
what else can you ask for? I mean, you know,
it's a blessing.
it's a blessing.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything, we're coming down to our time here.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
No, I think that's it. Like I said, you know, I just can't stress it enough. Just go after it, and don't let people tell you no. That's an important thing. Don't let people stand in the way. Like I said, people are offering constructive criticism. Embrace it, parse it, and go from there. But don't let anybody tell you no. Don't let anybody stop you.
And don't let yourself get in the way.
Don't let yourself get in the way. Don't be your own worst enemy. That's a good point. It's a good point.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And I'll be in touch soon.
All right. This was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks, RB.
All right.
Give up. First, be aware and conscious of your thoughts and catch yourself before they come out of your mouth, especially the negative thoughts into words. It takes being sedulous, persevering, and disciplined. Be grateful for whose you are and where you've come from and what you have, and be grateful for your freedom, and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds your mind and your body temple. Don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer. Thank God. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, stop judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your wealth and abundance with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life. By Henry David Thoreau. Thank you, Marin TV, for facilitating our show, and especially to my crew, Brad, Eric, Jack, and Mary. Thank you, crew. Please support and become a member of Marin TV. Bye for now, until the next time.